a lot of the decision making today is based on averages of averages. And even if you're getting a shipment breakdown, what's the carbon footprint? It is nothing but an average consumption on an average distance, on an average vehicle, with an average fuel mix, with an average weight. And this is now then broken down by the denominator of the packages. That is not what I would call a sound decision-making basis, and that's why there's so much effort happening also in the industry directly, independent of reporting standards that are discussed, and that definitely will also be important to actually get to a meaningful decision basis. We need to make carbon part of our decision making, and it will only be a meaningful part of our decision making if we are not talking about averages of averages.
Yeah, it's difficult to disagree. I think reporting for the sense of reporting, I mean, listen, we've done financial reporting for 1,000 years. It doesn't mean that you actually have a good company just because you make financial reporting. What means something is you actually have some data to make your decisions on. You measure them up against your targets and say, if I make this decision, I'm going to be behind on my target. If I make this decision, I'm going to be ahead of my target and so forth. Something you can relate back to. Transparency is again, I mean, we made our first sustainability report in 2008. And I can tell you those numbers were certainly not based on anything, right, pretty much. But that's still, we've been refining it. It's still a mess. I mean, there's no magic wand here, right, in that sense.
But do you have, excuse me, do you have a clear playbook on actions year on year, what you are doing in order to, I think you pledged to net zero. So what exactly are you doing? Because I think everyone, said it at one point, but...
Great. I think so that fits into what Mark said earlier on. So when we first went out with our carbon neutral target of 2050, it was end of 2018. We had no plan, no idea. That has been reworked. In January this year, we made it to 2040. We now have targets for 2030. We have, it's more detailed than what we are necessarily publishing and so forth in that sense. But it's very clear. Current management needs to be made liable and responsible for achieving whatever pledge you might have 20 years down the road. Otherwise, I mean, they're all going to be retired by then. And if they're not signing up to that and are not prepared to be a leadership that has responsibility today for something that might be achieved in 20 years from now, I'm sorry, they're not my leader.